Hello guys! Today back with another video. I lately was getting some requests from you to make a little tour of the systems I use regularly on my main workspace. So let's start. Here you see my first gen Mac Pro, where I do all my video editing and all my work on. And it's driving my triple display setup. For peripherals, I'm using a Razer Black Window Tournament Edition mechanical keyboard and also a Razer Imperator Elite 2012 gaming mouse. These two devices are controlled by this KVM switch, so I can use my peripherals on both of my systems. So here we're starting with my first gen Mac Pro. As I said, here I do all my work on and also all my video editing when I'm at home. This Mac Pro was being heavily upgraded. Normally it's a stock Mac Pro with the lowest end configuration, but I pretty much upgraded it to his paces. I replaced the Intel Xeon 5130 CPUs it came with, which were two dual-core CPUs running at 2 GHz with two Xeon 5355 processors running at 2.66 GHz. The most benefit in this is that I replaced two dual cores with two quad cores, so we pretty much did the 8-core mod on my Mac Pro. For RAM, we have 16 gigs of DDR2 memory, which in my case are 4 times 4 gigabytes. As you may seen in the first clip of the video, my Mac Pro is pretty beaten up because it has some serious shipping damage when it was delivered here. For whatever reason, since that shipping, the second riser slot on the Mac Pro isn't working. It seems like the slot on the logic board is dead. Because we actually have in the empty slots 4 times 256 megs of RAM. That was the RAM the Mac Pro originally came with. In my case, the Mac Pro actually has two video cards, a GTX 260 and an AMD Radeon HD 6570. My main monitor is a Dell P2210 at a resolution of 1680 to 1050. The right monitor is just a 19-inch monitor, which is driven by the AMD card. The AMD card is in the system because when I originally get the Mac Pro, it had a 7300 GT in there with 256 megs of VRAM. I replaced this card with a GT 610, but this card was not powerful enough to drive triple displays. So I got the AMD card and sticked it in as a second video card. And since then it's living in the Mac Pro. It would be cool to have 3 of the Dell monitors, but that probably came in the future. On the left we just have our basic 17-inch monitor. Now you're mainly thinking, why you replace the Nvidia GeForce GT 610 with a GeForce GTX 280, which is also a pretty old card? Well, pretty much I get it for $10, and I was thinking it would be a nice upgrade over my GT 610, and it really is. The GeForce GTX 260 performs a hell of a lot better than my GT 610. For storage medium, my boot drive is a 64 gigabyte solid state drive where pretty much it's have only to handle the OS and my apps because my home folder I put on the 2 terabyte drive where also all of my stuff is. For the Time Machine drive, it's just backing up my 64GB SSD because the 2TB data drive is backed up on my server, so I don't have to waste space in the Mac Pro for backups. The Time Machine drive is a Western Digital 160GB drive, which is pretty old, and I really want to replace the second two drives, so the Mac OS X Lion and Time Machine drive. The Mac OS X Lion drive is pretty much on its way out. It makes horrible shrieking sounds, and I just have Lion for there if I should have any problems with El Capitan in the future. So I still have an OS where I can boot from and fixing stuff. Now I will show you how much of a performance increase you can get if you change the CPUs in your first gen Mac Pro. To show you this, we're pretty much firing up Cinebench because I here have scores before the CPU upgrade and after the CPU upgrade. As you've seen here, we get about 516 scores with the two Xeon 5355s with 8 cores and 8 threads. With the old Intel Xeon CPUs, the Intel Xeon 5130s, where we had 4 cores and 4 threads, we get about 196 points, which is a lot less than what we're getting now with the CPU upgraded. And overall, the system feels a lot more snappy, and you're really feeling that OS X is a lot better handled by the new CPUs. As a second system, we have here my little gaming PC, which is powered by an Intel Core i7-2600, which I overclocked to 3.9 GHz. You can overclock non-K CPUs, but it's slightly harder. In the front, I just fiddled in this 5.25 media dashboard to give me USB 3.0 in the front and a little display which shows me the CPU temperature. These days I don't do so much with Windows anymore. The most stuff I do on a regular basis is on a Mac. That's why I have a Mac Pro, which is doing all the heavy stuff. For RAM, we have 8 GB of Corsair Vantage 1866 MHz memory, and for a graphics card, we have an R9 270X with 2 GB of VRAM. For storage, we have a 128 GB HyperX Fury SSD from Kingston and a 500 GB Samsung drive, which is on its way out, has to be replaced very soon, and 500 GB is really not enough because I'm mostly a PC gamer these days and don't play on consoles too much anymore. Here in the front it has just its basic DVD burner, and that's pretty much this system. It's running Windows 7 Ultimate Service Pack 1. Don't bother to upgrade with Windows 10 because I had on other devices a few issues with it. That's why it's still staying under Windows 7. On the portable side of things, here is my MacBook Pro mid-2009 13-inch, a lovely machine. You all know it by now from the macOS Sierra install video. It's just a super nice machine. It's still running Sierra. I had not any issues since I upgraded it. It's just doing what it's supposed to do. It's just a lovely machine. That was a tour of the machines I use on a daily basis. If you liked this video, please let me know in the comments, give me a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe.